do you do that every week?
Woody's at his age.
All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Jets Afterburners podcast. I am your host, Liam, being joined tonight by the one, the only, Tennessee Luca. Luca, how you doing, man?
What a day. To start out real quick, what's up to everybody in the chat? If you're there, hit the subscribe button. To always to the great Liam and Dan on the Jets Afterburners channel. Real quick, we'll break it down, obviously, but for one, after the Jets' victory in Cincinnati, did not think the Jets were going to do much. I thought they were going to make like a trade or two, maybe trade Quincy Williams, maybe trade like just another piece, maybe Breece Hall. Obviously, they didn't trade either of them, but this was absolutely stunning. The reactions are, I say, for the most part positive, but some are mixed. But we'll obviously get into that. But completely stunned. That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, especially the Sauce Gardner one. I mean, we had dabbled around with the idea of Quinnen Williams for, at least on this show, for a couple months. Actually, going back to last year. Dan had been floating that idea out there. And last year, when Dan floated that out there, everyone said, no, you're nuts. Quinnen is not going anywhere. And then Sauce Gardner, especially after we gave him that big contract right before the season started, nobody thought that he was going anywhere. And the way I look at it is, if you remember back when the Jets released Aaron Rodgers, I think it might have been the Combine meeting or wherever Aaron Glenn spoke. Back then, he said, this is not going to be the last move that the Jets make that upset the fans. And it's true. I mean, the fact of the matter is, some of these players were fan favorites. I mean, I was a Sauce fan. I was a little soured on him last year and this year. I was kind of over him a little bit. But Quinnen Williams, he had that one double-digit sack year and then really hasn't lived up to that same level. I get it. He was double-teamed a lot. But you know what? The Jets found a little success with these guys. They lost with them, and they can certainly lose without them. And that's just the nature of this business. If you're going to be a bad team, if you're going to be a 1-7 team, some of your favorite players, their heads are going to roll. And for guys like Quinnen Williams, I'm happy for it. Like he's going to go. I would have said the Cowboys last year were a better team than they are this year, but like look at Sauce. He's on a 7-2 team. Like the Cowboys aren't a bad team, for Quinnen Williams. So I hope these guys do find success, even if it's not with the Jets. I have no ill will towards any of them, truthfully.
Yeah, neither do I. And if we're going to go through the Sauce Gardner, well, actually, I'm going to start with the Quinnen trade. I'm going to go in reverse. If you guys didn't see, Connor Hughes said not twice, but 3 times in his post-trade deadline dialogue with Quinnen Williams, or regarding the subject, he requested a trade not once, not twice, but 3 times. One of them, Liam had mentioned, more so about Aaron Glenn's comments about the Combine, but obviously the Rodgers thing was a big factor in Quinnen Williams not being happy. He wasn't essentially happy for rebuild. Aaron Glenn, not going to say called him out on it, but kind of did at the same time, just to be like, hey, this can't happen. I'm sure they had a word or two behind the scenes, but to 2 more times, saw the team where it was going, another rebuild, so on and so forth. And you're right, Liam. I think there's a lot of fans out there who both overvalue Sauce and Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams, to be fair, has not put up the same production since that year in 2022 when he was sacking the likes of Brett Rippon, Trevor Siemian, and all these different cats. You look at the quarterbacks. But he's not put up the same production. Yes, you can say, he's double-teamed. No. No, no, no. If that was Aaron, if he's supposed to be the next Aaron Donald or the next Chris Jones, he's not living up to that. I'm sorry. And what's interesting was, I think there was a Toplet Pelissero or somebody credible like a James Palmer or whatever. Apparently, or it might have been Rossini. It was like a league GM or executive texted me and said the Jets are breaking down a top 10 defense. That is a fallacy, and I will tell you why. The last time the Jets were a top 10 legit unit was 2022 and 2023. That breakup started when John Franklin Myers got traded and the depth of this team was completely eviscerated. Bryce Huff was gone, all these different things. But the Quinnen Williams trade, it's also ripped to my jersey collection because I actually have in New York, I have a Sauce and Quinnen jersey, regardless, not the point. The Quinnen trade, I think it was only a matter of time. He's also due for an extension next year, possibly. So do you want to play? Do you want to pay him that big money when he's kind of underperformed with the contract and the AAV value? And another thing, this goes with the Sauce thing as well. It allows the money to even out. You save money, and I get it. Like, oh, you could say these are two all-pros, such and such, and yes, they've underperformed. But also, you need not only do you need assets, you need cap space. We have a lot of holes on this team, guys. We have a lot of holes on this team. So you could fill out and say, you know what, we're going to add, because I don't know how much the Jets and potential cap space, I'll look it up on Spot Track, what projected they have next year. So I think they're like top 6, if not mistaken, in cap space. So that could only get better with the Sauce and Quinnen Williams trades. But Sauce Gardner, I think Darren Muji actually mentioned that there was the way the contract was structured allowed for the Jets to make a trade or allowed for another team to trade from where it wasn't going to be a complete albatross. So at the end of the day, this was a move for the future. And I get why fans are skeptical because we've done this before with the Jamal Adams trade. It amounted to Garrett Wilson and Elijah Vera Tucker. Vera Tucker, very good player, not healthy. Garrett Wilson, our wide receiver 1. We also get a very potentially, I don't want to say high potential, a budding wide receiver 2 in Adonai Mitchell, who I'm very high on. So, and he's also got one of the league's most underrated separation rates throughout the NFL. Bozzie Smith, don't worry about that. But to get a wide receiver 2 in the building alongside Garrett Wilson is also key. So I think it's right now, basing what we've seen so far, the returns, I think it's a win for the Jets, all sides considered.
Yeah, I think so, 100%. We saved a ton of money. And if you notice, we didn't create any more holes by getting rid of any of these players. I have the picture pulled up here, actually, if I could get it. Right here. I'm not too familiar with this guy. I'm going to be completely honest.
Neither am I.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But so it's like we do have another defensive back. So, and then not only that, I mean, we already have Sauce's replacement in A.Z. Thomas.
Yeah.
He was the next guy in the pipe. And then once we got rid of Quinnen Williams, we picked up this big boy, Mozzie Smith. Not too familiar with his game. I mean, I've heard his name a couple of times, but like I can't say I watch a ton of Cowboys games, to be honest. I don't think anybody really does unless you're a fan. But so it's like, yes, we did get rid of a former All-Pro, but then we bring in this guy. And then we also get, a first and a second round pick as a part of that trade. Like, sign me the hell up. We have so many early round picks that, and then, getting here with Sauce, we picked up another wide receiver. He's probably like a wide receiver 3, I would say. He's probably a 4 on the Colts, because they do have, when
they got Pittman, they have Alec Pierce,
Tyler Warren, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, so many receiving options. It looked like he was the odd man out.
Exactly. So you know what? Maybe his future could be a little bit brighter here, where he can get showcased a little bit more. I'm actually a little surprised that, I can't really say I'm surprised, but I was hoping that Alan Lazard would be gone, and but I am happy with what we have here. It really is the Garrett Wilson show. I mean, Adonai Mitchell, I don't think he's really moving the needle all that much, but maybe he has the potential to break out here. But I do really like that Darren Muji found a way to move on from these big contracts. You're saving, like I said, a ton of money, millions and millions. You're accumulating a ton of first and second round draft picks. I still don't think we have a third, but we have. I don't, because of the Hassan Reddick thing. I don't think we got any thirds along the way. But we were able to save a ton of money. We got a ton of draft picks, and we really didn't create any holes. We upgraded the wide, well, not upgraded, but we added depth to the wide receiver room because it was pretty barren without Garrett Wilson. Somehow they still found a way to win a game, without Garrett Wilson. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for this, man. It does seem like Darren Muji is like the adult in the room. He is a young general manager. He's a first-time general manager, but this was a smart general manager move, in my opinion. It's hard to be upset with Darren Muji over this. And this is really how you change the culture. Like, these guys, all they've known is losing here. Now they have the potential. They could go maybe stack some draft picks and move up or down in the draft board, whatever they want to do. They could go out. They could afford to win some games now and still probably get like a Mendoza or something like that, if that's the guy that they want, or whatever quarterback they want. Or they can bundle some of those picks and go trade for a proven quarterback. That seems to be like more the Aaron Glenn way, dealing with Drew Brees, dealing with Jared Goff, just along the way.
Absolutely. I think the Jets, listen, Liam, why would Darren Muji turn down 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner? And they were only gauging offers. It wasn't like they were actively saying, "Oh, we're going to trade Sauce Gardner. Send in your offers now." No, and apparently per Muji, again, really can't believe everything in the press conference. He's like, the Colts only got richer and richer with their offers. So there was lesser offers, but they eventually said, all right, we'll now offer this. We'll now offer this. So you got 2 first-round picks and a potential wide receiver 2, a wide receiver 3 for the future. Donnie Mitchell was drafted last year. I don't remember what college he came out of, but he's a second-year receiver. He's got potential. Armand does mention, I saw this report as well, that the Bears and Niners were among the teams tried to trade for Jermaine Johnson. Jets wanted a second-round pick. Bears pivoted to Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, and the Niners wanted to stay put. Now, I'll bring up something, and this is not being negative. It's just a slight concern because I remember somebody brought it up in the chat about Brees, right?
Yeah.
The Jets wanted a 3rd-round pick for Brees. Casey wanted to trade a 4th. What's risky is you go into next year, we don't know what you're going to do with Brees. He's going to be a free agent. You can, for the most part, Eagle Fang asked me earlier, do the Jets get a comp pick for Brees? And that depends on how much money the Jets spend. The Jets in total, if you want to do the math, per spot track, they have $117 million in cap space. Now, that doesn't factor in, potential extensions, those different things. But if the Jets spend big, they're not getting a comp pick for Brees. If they don't spend big, they will get a comp pick for Brees. So you're kind of risking him losing for nothing. And one of the reports, I don't remember, it was from a credible source, basically said, it might have been Connor Hughes, who essentially said Brees wanted out towards the end of the trade deadline, as literally the clock was winding down. Like, you're talking an hour before 4 o'clock. So it's a risky situation where you might lose Brees for nothing. Now, Jermaine Johnson, I believe that option was picked up, so we'll see where that goes from there. See if the Jets can get him an extension. Obviously, depends on how he plays also this year from here on out, because he hasn't stayed healthy. That's a problem. So my one concern, same thing for Quincy Williams, although I would say more for Brees, was not that I'm like overly criticizing Muji. It's just a quite concern. Like, do you risk losing nothing for Brees or Quincy Williams? Those type of guys, because Quincy's due for an extension. They have not given it to him. Brees Hall's due for an extension. They have not given it to him. And listen, let's be fair. People are like, oh, well, we should re-sign Brees. We should tag him. Running backs are a dime a dozen. If you go into the 1st round or 2nd round next year and select a guy like Jeremiah Love, I think he's going to get you the same production. Who knows, maybe even better. So I think he's replaceable. I think he's a good running back. I'm not saying he doesn't have talent. It's just I don't think he's lived all the way up to his potential here in New York.
I think so too. I mean, I don't think he's lived up to his full potential. I would not be opposed to franchise tagging him. I think that's really going to piss him off, though, if those reports are true that like he did want to be traded. And I can see it. I mean, he's done a lot of losing here. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. Sometimes you could see it like with his body language that he's annoyed. He's made a couple cryptic tweets on Twitter or X. I am a little surprised that they didn't trade him, but good for like Darren Muji for standing on, he's not going to be pushed around by the Kansas City Chiefs or anybody. And that gives him a backbone. That gives him a young general manager some credibility. This guy's not screwing around. He means what he says. So I could respect that. if we do franchise tag Brees, I think it would be like what, like 14 mil, I think,
Let me look at the
for the
NFL.
year.
Yeah, let me look at the running back franchise tag. Let's
So so
see.
let so would you be comfortable giving Brees 14 million?
For 1 year, it wouldn't be. For 1 year, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Yeah, like you don't want this to, as we've seen in past years, not with the Jets, but with the Giants. We don't want this to be a Saquon situation. Although Saquon's ultra talented more than Brees,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be. Would it be the worst thing in the world? I don't think so for 1 year. But as long as you fill out the other holes properly, I'm not opposed because for the most part, the big problem with let's go back with the Giants real quick. Why I mentioned Saquon Barkley is obviously they opted to pay Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. Barkley was the better player, and also as well, the Giants weren't winning outside of that year in 2022 and in 2023. They didn't really have a good offensive line. Now you have, for the most part, a good contingent in the offensive line. Also, another guy who's going to be a free agent is John Simpson. So you obviously got to see what you do with the guard position, but your contingent is Tippmann, Membu, and Fashanu.
Yep.
You also have AVT, who's a free agent, so that's possibly two holes you got to fill. So that's just an interesting point. But as long as you have a contingent offensive line and a decent chunk of the holes are filled, you could draft offensive players. I wouldn't mind bringing Brees back on a franchise tag. Again, it's not that the guy isn't talented. It's just unfortunate that he's had some injuries and some inconsistencies. That's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think that this year he's looked as close to that rookie year self as he ever has.
Yeah.
And it's no secret that the Jets, they're trying to run the ball. That's their game plan. We're going to run the ball. So they are able to stick to that. And now they're still, especially because I did like the Isaiah Davis performance against the Cincinnati Bengals, but it's
Oh,
hard
yeah,
to
he
tell
went off.
because that is an outlier game, though, just considering how bad their defense is. But it is nice to know that they do have a little bit of potential. Isaiah
Yeah.
Davis, I'm saying. So why I am partially surprised that we didn't get rid of Brees, I do understand why. And I like Brees. I hope that we can find a way to bring him back. But if he doesn't want to come back, I mean, hey, I completely understand it. So if you were to give him an extension, what numbers would you be looking to give Brees?
I'm not totally high on extending running backs because I said they're a dime a dozen. You can get
Right.
replaceable, but if I were to give him a number, probably 3 years. I'd say in the low teens. I forget. I apologize. I forget who the highest paid running back is in the NFL, but
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
not
say
sure
the
either.
low teens. I would say the low teens probably. And again, the guy's talented. It's just like, are you paying are you paying him for what he is, or are you paying for him for what he can be? Is the major question with Brees. And I think Brees is only 24, so he's technically, if you want to be honest, Liam, he's not even hit his prime yet.
Right. And I think it would just like really upset us, if you do watch him like with the Chiefs next year, in the
Yeah.
AFC Championship game, and he's just like running the ball down like the Bills' throat or something like that. Like it would just irritate me a little bit. Like I do get it. Yes, they are a dime a dozen, but I like Brees. I'm a Brees fan, and I wish that we could find a way, to keep him here long term. But like I said, I don't even know if he's going to want that. Truthfully, it does seem more likely than not that we are going to have to let him go for nothing, which is upsetting.
Yeah, absolutely upsetting. And I brought up, as I said, I brought up the concern about losing him for nothing because, once again, he is a talented player. He's not a schmuck. But at the end of the day, you look at all sides of it. And I'll say this, let me address this as well because people are concerned. Just a little bit of people, but I understand it. That, this is kind of similar to the Jamal Adams situation. And right now we're just waiting on cautious optimism or being skeptical because the last time we did this similar of a trade, we traded Jamal Adams. Yes, he was a talented player, but he was mouthing off and whatever. But the issue was that I should say that trade itself, it's not like Jamal Adams, I said at the time, it's not like Jamal Adams helped us win. He didn't.
Right.
He was a great player, great safety at a very unimportant position, unfortunately. And the problem was obviously Adams mouthed off. He didn't help us win. But also at the same time, yes, we did get Garrett Wilson, AVT from the trade, But the problem was that was supposed to jumpstart a rebuild, and it did with the picks. But the problem was we didn't hit on those other picks. So now we're in the situation. We're in this situation because of past GM failures, meaning Joe Douglas. Like that 21 draft is a major failure for the most part.
Yeah.
Michael Carter's gone. Jamie Sherwood's still on the roster. AVT's been hurt. Elijah Moore is gone. Zach Wilson is gone. Like the problem, again, that's why, fans are skeptical, and I understand it. I completely understand it. I don't, I'll say this, Liam, I don't understand the fanboy perspective where it's like, oh, we traded Sauce. I've seen this quote so many times. It's like, I'm going to punch my computer. I'm not going to buy a jersey again. I'm like, shut up, honestly. But regardless, all my nonsense aside, my point is for this trade to happen, and again, they got appropriate value for both players. It's all about the picks hitting now. We could be happy right now and say, you know what, they got tremendous value, but the picks have to hit. And it's not just the first round picks or the second round picks. The Jets have 5 first round picks in the next 2 years. They have 2 next year, courtesy of the Colts and themselves, the Jets. Then they also have 2027, which is predicted to be a better draft, where you have the Colts, the Cowboys, and the Jets. And we don't know what the Cowboys are going to be in a year from now. So who knows about that? But I think it gives fans a little bit of PTSD where it's like, okay, we're going through another rebuild. When is this going to end? And here's another thing. I'm still not exactly high in this regime, not being negative, just an overall perspective. This ensures that they are coming back for another year.
I was just going to say that. Yep.
Besides the one win against the Bengals, you are not making this trade unless you have some sort of job security, whether like it or not. Calling it fair is fair. And a buddy of mine, I was in a space today, and he was like, they might draft a defensive player with one of the first round picks next year. And I'm not totally sure about that because, maybe they do draft a defensive tackle. I don't know, but we'll see because obviously you got to replace Quinnen Williams. But look at it. Most of your holes, I would say, on the offensive side of the ball, you need a wide receiver too, unless Adonai Mitchell comes that guy. You need a running back, although you probably shouldn't realistically draft a running back in the first round unless you want to do the Jahmyr Gibbs thing. But the holes on a decent chunk of the holes, especially if you're going to draft one of your positions on the offensive line, whether it's the guard position or possibly a center, you want to move Tippmann to guard, you're going to have to use a first-round pick on that. I mean, you don't have to, but it's essentially you need. So you look at that. Oh, why did I not mention quarterback? The Jets going to have to draft a quarterback next year. So you could do quarterback and wide receiver. You could double dip on offense. You could do double dip. You could do just one dip on defense, one dip on offense. The Jets have premium picks in next year and beyond. But again, the problem is not the problem. It's just the question is, are they going to hit, and what do the player talent evaluations look like?
Well, yeah, exactly. And Sauce Gardner, he is a proven all-pro corner. I know, like this year and last year, he wasn't. But like we're gonna have to hope that we get another one. And just going back to that 2022 draft, I did like the prospect of Sauce. And back when I was doing everything NYJ, that was Italy Jets guy, and I was completely sold. I was like, I want an edge rusher or a receiver. And then they went corner, with the 4th overall, and I was like, what? I was like, I like Sauce, I was like I'm cool with it. But at the same time, I was like kind of stunned. And then they go up to 10, they get Garrett Wilson, and then they get AVT, and then they get Jermaine Johnson, and we're like, all right, like now we're cooking. The Jets have the potential to do the same thing here. Like we have the potential to fill a lot of holes. Now, like I said, I don't know if they're gonna. I think they absolutely should draft a quarterback in the first round, but I don't know if they're gonna do that or bundle a couple of picks and then go get like a veteran quarterback, whoever that may be. I mean, I don't have like one specific guy, in mind right now. Once we get like a little bit closer to that time, maybe things will change. But now, if the Jets only win this one game, do you think that still guarantees this regime coming back? Or is this going to be like maybe like a selling point to like a Harbaugh or a McCarthy or a Tomlin? Look, you can completely, with the picks you have here, you can make this roster and the money you have. You can make this roster whatever you think it should be. Here are the keys to the castle. Go make this team. Do you think that's a possibility, or is it 100% they've made these moves because this current regime is coming back?
I think the regime is here to stay. But in the case that you said, Liam, with the one win, ideologically, here's the thing as well, because somebody brought up in the space that I was in, potentially to use that first round. If you really do not believe in Aaron Glenn, I think Woody believes in Aaron Glenn pretty much enough, and they're going to come back next year, whatever. Do you trade that first round pick for a potential coach? And I know,
yeah.
Armand, Armand is not going to be a fan. He's like, when does that happen? It doesn't really work out. But let's just say a Shanahan shakes free. Do you go after Shanahan? I know I'm dreaming, but the first round picks, because you need a head coach to set the culture. And I'm not totally sold on Aaron Glenn. I haven't been for the past couple of weeks, but I don't think one win should be like, oh, I'm going to guarantee you a second year because you traded so-and-so. And in fairness, as Armin said, the regime's here to stay. I do think they have the levity now, since they said, okay, we're trading these two guys. This is a rebuild. We need our players. Fine. But if you don't hit on them, and I'm going to be honest, what does that do for next year in terms of expectations? And obviously, we're a long way away from the draft and next year in total. But does this say, okay, now our goal for next year is to win 7 games? Or is it, okay, we better make the playoffs or be at least in the contention window? And obviously, you have the premium assets where you could draft talented players. It all comes down to coaching at the end of the day. The NFL is a coach's league. So you look at that, and to be fair, you've seen the signings of Justin Fields, Andre Cisco. Stevens has gotten better. Be fair about that. But the talent evaluation is so crucial in this rebuild, Liam. It's not even close. It's about what Aaron Glenn sees, Muji sees, and, obviously I said they're going to be back next year. But the principal point is, if they do not hit on talent evaluation, we're screwed.
Yeah, because ideally, we don't ever really want to be in this situation again. So you're absolutely right. If they do not hit on these picks, we are. I mean, we're effed. If this wasn't a PG show, I'd say it, but we're a PG show. We're a family show, so I'm not going to. But you guys get the idea. But yeah, I mean, this is so crucial, and the next 5+ years of this team depends on this upcoming draft. I feel like we say it a lot, but it's really applying for the 2026 draft. This could set the franchise back, for the better part of a decade if they fail on this. This has got to be one of the most important drafts probably in Jet history. I'm not going to say the number one, but it's up there. This is a very important draft for the Jets, because this is going to be they don't deserve another quarterback, if this rookie fails. And I'm sure Justin Fields, he's under contract. I'm sure he will be the backup next year. But if we don't turn this around by 2027 and at least be in the mix for the playoffs, meaningful games in December, not Robert Saleh style where you just lose out in December, win a couple games, maybe be in it for wild card weekend. That's my expectation for 2027. Then we're screwed. There's no other way to say it. So this is such an important draft, and I'm not sold on Aaron Glenn as a head coach. I was very happy for him when he beat the Bengals. It was a really exciting game, but I think it's very fair to be hesitant about these guys. It sucks. It figures. We finally yes, we suck again, but it does seem like maybe there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to be bringing in the next batch of Jet players, but we don't know if we have the coaches. Is that one of your main concerns?
Absolutely, Liam. I could not agree with more with you, because you mentioned potentially about just being the one win. I'm very curious to see what this fan base measures progress in, because obviously, yes, we win that one game. I don't think we were that bereft of talent where that should have been our only win. I know we could say we should have won the Bucks game. They should have. We should have won the Steeler game. We should have won the Bronco game, the Dolphin game, whatever. They should have more than one win on the schedule. They're not bereft of talent. It's been the coaching, and it's been Aaron Glenn's hiccups as coaching. And this pivotal stretch, and I'm going to open it up a little bit of, I should say, not optimism. I'm going to give them a chance after the bye week. How does this team look after the bye week? The Jets always suck after the bye week. The last time the Jets got a win after the bye week, it was that terrible, awful Giants game in the rain where they won 13-10. It was awful. It was Tommy DeVito versus Zach Wilson. Regardless, whatever. I'd say this week is a must win. This
Yes.
week alone is a must-win for the Jets because the Browns are going to be playing Dylan Gabriel. Obviously, Myles Garrett's not happy. I don't think the Browns made a trade. I think no, they actually did. I think they either traded Joe Tryon. Let me double check. They traded him to the Bears, if I'm not mistaken. So they made a trade, but regardless, they're going to be starting Dylan Gabriel. Who knows what Stefanski's doing? Is he on the hot seat? But regardless, things are not going well with the Browns right now. And I get it. It's going to be a dead atmosphere likely at MetLife and this, that, and so forth. But if you really want fans to trust your progress as a head coach, turn it around starting this week. Pull out a win. And I get it. There's some fans that want to be on the tank train and whatnot. But, I don't know if I'm going to be satisfied with 5 wins at the end of the season. I don't know if I'm going to be satisfied with 4. I mean, I'll be honest. I expected 5 wins. I said it on my show when I did season preview with Frankie V. I'm like, okay, this team should be able to win 7, but they'll win about 5.
Yeah.
With the mistakes that happened earlier in the year, because you can't be just ignoring all the bad. One of my fears, Liam, to be fair, was this deadline, especially with the win. I thought the Jets were going to be playing prisoner of the moment. Like, okay, everything is fine. Let's keep everybody. They didn't, and they completely shot my They They were completely shot above my expectations. And I don't want the fan base to be prisoner moment either. Like, oh, we got our win against the Browns, so on and Bengals, so on and so forth. No, you need to back this up. You need to show progress down the line. Couple of wins.
I'm glad you mentioned that because absolutely, the one good thing is, well, not the one good thing, but one of the good things about accumulating all of these picks is I think that we could afford to win some more games now and still be okay. We could hypothetically bundle a package and then, move to the first, second overall pick, whatever, if you are sold on a quarterback, if you have your guy, we could afford to win a couple more games because a lot of people are saying, oh, you have to go 17-0 to get Mendoza or to get more, whoever you want. And then we won the one game and my uncle texted me, big Jet fan. He goes, all right, I'm happy we got our one win. We're not going to be in that terrible, winless team, aura, such as the Browns have and the Lions have, he's like, I'm glad that we're not going to have that. But he's like, please do not win any more games. Now, I think we could afford to win another couple games. And I'm going to go through the schedule here real quick. And, as a Jet fan, I am not saying any of these games are, guaranteed Jet wins because the other team is probably looking at this on their schedule saying, oh yeah, we're going to win this game. So just looking at the Browns, that is a winnable game, I think, and coming out of the bye week, we should I think Armand just left. Come back, Armand. I saw him back there. I was going to bring him on in a second here, but I'll text him in a minute. But yeah, if you really want to change the culture, doing things like winning a winnable game after the bye, that's a small thing to to change your culture. And then we have Thursday night. We have Jets and Patriots. I don't think we're winning that one, to be honest with you. Jets and Ravens. I mean, I'm not saying that can be winnable, but if Lamar's not playing, maybe we have a shot. I think Lamar should be playing by then, though.
Yeah, Lamar played last Thursday against the Dolphins, and he dominated. So he's going to play versus us.
Yeah. 1 second, Armand. I'll bring you on in a second here. So that's probably a loss. The Falcons, that's probably a loss too. I mean, their offense, they got some playmakers. Jets and Dolphins, that could be a Jet win right there.
Could. Yeah, it depends if the Dolphins players are checked out or not. And I'm absolutely stunned that the Dolphins, with Chris Greer gone nonetheless, that the Dolphins opted not to trade Jalen Waddle. I know Jalen Phillips went to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think there was another player that could have been traded but wasn't. But apparently I think the Broncos wanted Jalen Waddle. Nothing worked out on that end, but I'm stunned there. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets won. But it also could be a game where the Jets lose. It depends. Are they playing for McDaniel in that position? Because I think he's likely to get fired. It's just about when the Dolphins can start or at least continue to mail it in.
Well, is McDaniel even the coach by that point? I think that's the other question.
For the most part, I think they said he was going to continue being coached throughout the season. So I think he's going to be a lame duck.
Yeah. Jets, Jaguars. The Jaguars are probably losing. I mean, the Jets are probably losing that game.
Yeah, I think
Jaguars. Jets and Saints. That's another winnable game.
That's quote unquote a tank. But that's like the tank bowl. That's quote unquote the tank bowl, because if the tankers out there, the Jets have the number 3rd overall pick right now because both the Titans and Saints have played more and more games than the Jets because the Jets obviously had their bye week. Titans are 1-8 with the Saints. The Jets are 1-7. So as I said, they have their bye week, but the Jets do have a lower strength of schedule than the Saints and the Tennessee Titans. So if they lose this week, you could see them being number 1, possibly.
Right. And then after that, we have the Patriots, which I think is another loss, and then the Bills, which the only way that can be a win is if they're not playing their starters, which is a realistic possibility, but like I'm not going to pencil the Jets beating the Bills. So, I mean, ideally, like the Jets could be like a 4-win team, obviously not great, but we just listed off like a couple teams that are like on or similar to like the Jets talent level. If you could like beat those teams, that's just my opinion. But anyway, Mr. Armand, how are you?
What a day. What a day.
Yeah.
Sauce was the like it or not, Sauce was the shocking one, but you're not mad.
No, I wasn't
No.
exactly. Like I'm not like super upset about it.
Like I've said before, Mitchell was on a team with a lot of weapons. Tyler Warren, JT. They had 3 receivers in front of him: Josh Downs, Pierce, and Pittman. So he was like the odd man out between snaps and targets from a receiving standpoint. He'll get them here because there's nobody here.
That's true.
What were your thoughts on the Quinnen trade?
Not surprised we traded him. Surprised what we got back for him. And what I'm surprised is now first it was reported it was Dallas's first next year, but now it's the higher of the 2.
Yeah, I didn't.
So I wonder if that's based on record, like if Dallas is picking like based on their record next year, if they miss the playoffs and are picking 14th, is it the 14th pick or if it's the Packers pick? Like if they're in like 22nd.
Yeah, Dan FaceTimed me from beautiful Dominican Republic as he was getting ready to eat dinner, and he was just showing me around, and that came up, and then he was telling me that it's whatever the least pick is, or closest to the number 1.
Dallas pick. I believe it's the Dallas pick, their owned pick.
I don't know if it's true, but he did tell me that it can swap whoever has the worst record at the end of the year. I don't know if that's true. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. It probably is the Dallas pick. I could imagine the Cowboys are going to be worse than the Packers regardless this year.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's 27. We got Dallas's 2nd round pick this year for Quinnen.
That's right. That's right. But so we are loading up with all of these first round picks, and we also did not really create any more holes. Do you think that this is something that we're going to go get our quarterback, like to draft a quarterback with? Do you think we could bundle some of these picks, Armand, and go get a veteran? Like, what do you think the Jets do with these picks? How do they make the team better?
What's the veteran quarterback you want to trade for?
The only answer, I'm sorry to interrupt, Armand. The only name that I'm seeing in rumors is Kyler Murray.
I don't think Kyler gets traded. I think Kyler gets cut.
Wow.
I
don't know what his cap hit or numbers.
I'll say this. If he gets cut, I would sign him to a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have the quarterback room be Kyler, Fields, and then a rookie. Whether that rookie's within our top 5, top 3, based on where we're drafting at, just wherever. Like that would be my QB room for next year.
Now, do you see a situation where this might be a little out of the box, but do you see a situation where maybe the Jets could trade for either Brock Purdy or Mac Jones?
Why do you want to trade for Mac Jones?
Because he's playing winning football right now.
He's playing winning football with what team? With Kyle Shanahan, who, let's face it, Brock Purdy saved him from being criticized for failing Trey Lance.
Yes, absolutely. He 100% did. But
they don't get enough of crap. I'm the only one that criticizes the 49ers for Trey Lance. And injuries hurt Trey Lance as well.
That's true. Yeah. No, I mean, like they really did save face by doing that. I mean,
You really want Mac Jones? Or like it's.
no,
I mean, I know he could throw the ball better than Fields, but that's not saying much.
no, no, I know, but I'm just trying to like come up like with some like quarterbacks that aren't 40 that we're going up to, to trade the farm for. Somebody like
Those
a
quarterbacks are they're not good, so you don't trade for them. You hope that they get cut and you could sign them to a 1-year deal.
Somebody mentioned in a space, what about Joe Burrow?
Oh,
He
absolutely.
gets hurt too many times. He gets hurt too many times, and you're going to bring him to MetLife in this turf?
Yes, I'm sick. I absolutely would. 100%.
All right, and then he's going to get hurt on 4 snaps like Rodgers. And you and Dan are going to cry like a baby. But listen, Burrow hasn't stayed healthy the past 3 years.
Which is why you could probably get him for cheap.
You're not going to get him for cheap.
Well, I'm not saying.
And he's the reason why they brought back Higgins and Chase.
I'm not. You wouldn't break Burrow. I'm not saying, like give like a 7th round pick for him. Like it's gonna cost you some, but like if we're trading for a quarterback, like I want a guy that's gonna be here for like 5 years. Like I don't want this like year to year Roger thing like we just did. I do want to go draft a quarterback. I think you have to, like I'm pretty much all in on Mendoza. I like Mendoza. I'm a Mendoza guy, but yeah, you need a strong arm elite quarterback to play. Like I want something like Jared Goff or something like that. Like somebody that you can have that's going to win you games like year in and year out, and like you have your guy for the next few years. Like that's what I want. And now we have the cap space. We have the draft picks to go make do something crazy. Go out of the box. Go get your guy. Like if you got to give up 2, 3, first round picks.
All right, here's out of the box. Call up the Chargers. See if they're trading Herbert.
Absolutely, I would.
It's not Harbaugh's guy.
Yeah, I 100% would. I 100% would. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is getting moved. He's somebody else. I wouldn't be 100% against it though. Anyway,
I think the best bet is to see if Kyler Murray gets cut and sign him to a 1-year deal. Bring him in here to compete with Fields and the rookie quarterback. Look at what the Giants did. They brought in Jameis, which I think was a Dable and Shane move. I think Russ was an ownership move. And I think Dable and Shane were agreed on Dart. So copy that and see what happens. Maybe the competition is Murray and Fields, who starts. And if they suck, if you're 0-5, 0-6, you go straight to the rookie.
Now, Armand, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Luca. By getting all of these assets moving forward, does this guarantee that the regime, let's say that they win 1 game, does this guarantee the regime
Yes.
regime comes back next year?
I think Woody approved. I think trading Sauce kept them their jobs because Woody is a guy that wants somebody here that puts butts in the seats and sells jerseys. Sauce sold jerseys. Sauce was the face of this team on the defensive side of the ball. It was him and Garrett were the faces of this team going forward, being the young guys. They sold jerseys. For Woody to approve Muji and Glenn to trade Sauce, that says that they're here next year.
Now, if they were to go like 1-16 or 1-7, like something like that, if they were a 1-win team, would you be against going to trade for a head coach?
Yes, because we're not a Super Bowl ready team. Only Super Bowl ready teams should go trade for a coach. Hence why Gruden got traded from the Raiders to the Bucks, and then he won a Super Bowl with what's the coach's name? He's on NBC.
You talk about Dungy?
Yes, he won it with Tony Dungy's team. And then Bruce Arians got traded from Arizona to Tampa Bay in 2019. Yep. And then because Tom Brady came available in 2020, because remember, Arians was brought in to develop Jameis Winston. And then Brady became available, and they loaded up that team. And they already had the defense to win the championship. They just loaded up the offense with Brady and Gronk and a bunch of other people. and that became a Super Bowl team and went on a Super Bowl run. A team like the Jets cannot trade for a head coach. You fire Glenn. Listen, you wanna interview Gruden. You want to interview these experienced head coaches. Go right ahead. But just like an inexperienced coaching staff, like I said, who has Gruden developed as a quarterback?
Right.
He won with a veteran quarterback for a Super Bowl. McCarthy's the only one you can make a case that he developed Aaron Rodgers.
And how much did Brett Favre play a role in that?
Yes, for 3 years.
Also, as well, Dak played better under Mike McCarthy. As I said several times, I'm not a huge fan of McCarthy, but just in terms of getting an offensive guy, proven head coach for the status of wins and building a culture, I think he would be good. But obviously, that's got to happen down the line.
Also, I'll say this about McCarthy: his offense has to become a modern era. It can't be outdated. That's my one reasoning for him is his offense is so outdated that teams get up to it so fast that he just becomes a mid-quote coach. Luca, you brought up a name that could be available. Dak.
Would you guys take Dak Prescott here?
For 1 year, yes.
That contract would be huge, though, no?
Well, what if he gets...
How long are you planning to have Dak? You talking the next couple of years? You talking he gets released? Because you're not winning a Super Bowl with that dude. I'm sorry, you're not. He's a good quarterback. I don't think you're winning a Super Bowl with him.
But I also think Dak, let's say Dak gets cut. Hypothetically, Dak gets cut. There has to be enough of evidence in scouting from Muji and this scouting team, and even Glenn and the coaching staff, that they don't like the first round quarterbacks in this class. Now that would tell you how many years Dak gets on his cut. Now remember, you could give him a 5-year deal, and the guaranteed money is only within the first 2 years.
Right.
That would probably be like the way to go. You know, just as little guarantees as possible. You know, incentivize the hell out of that thing. That would have to be the way to go. I'm not against that though. I am really not against that.
And it's also it kind of has them stick to their motto, like they want to win games on Sunday. Even though we all know that was a bold-faced lie this year.
No, I think they tried. They're just not good at doing it. There's a difference. They want to win on Sunday. They just can't.
They can't win because they didn't choose the correct quarterback.
Well, they tried.
Armin was the biggest Justin Fields opposer of them all. May I say Armin has won in that regard. Despite, and yes, we all know, as Armin said, he has that one really good game or two really good games every year. Justin Fields.
He had those
and give me a break. And give me a break with Glenn saying, "I know who my starting quarterback is. I'm not going to say it. You really need to do this against the Cleveland Browns. I mean, that's helping. Like, let's start. I'm going to call this out right now. I've been saying this. I think I said it to you, Lucas. When Stefanski gave up the play calling duties to Tommy Reese. Incoming Dylan Gabriel, 350 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Cleveland is going to win on Sunday.
Tommy Reese is just from a Notre Dame fan's experience. Tommy Reese is absolutely horrible. But why do you have to play gamesmanship? A, when you're 1-7. B, when you're going against a terrible team of the Browns. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And most people know that Justin Fields is starting on Sunday. Let's not be ridiculous here. Why would they bench Justin Fields after the game he had against the Bengals?
Exactly. It's different if Fields didn't play well and you won that game on a Nick Folk field goal.
Yes.
And you want to do this. You want to do this gamesmanship against the Browns, like, I'm not going to announce who the starting quarterback is, but Justin Fields played out of his mind. I don't see him doing that again, especially with Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Fashanu and even Membu have played really well this season. I just don't see Membu having another game against the top edge rusher like he did against T.J. Watt, against having the same type of game against Myles Garrett. Like, sooner or later, the rookie wall is going to hit him. And it's going to be Myles Garrett hitting Justin Fields like for 5 sacks a game.
And Justin Fields is going to be staring. He's going to have like 5-6 seconds to throw in the pocket, and then he's just going to get clapped.
Yeah. And it's like Aaron Glenn's is being difficult for no reason. It's like, Are we gonna have like the guy that doesn't like throw the ball but is like coming off of a good game? Where I will give him credit, he got rid of the ball quickly against the Bengals. Or is it going to be like the old washed up backup? Like it's not that hard, you know. Like I don't understand. He's making this way more difficult than it has to be. He's just being difficult with the media just for like the sake of it, you know. And
let's call it what it is. This secondary is going to play well because let's face it, the Browns don't have that good of a wide receiving room.
No.
It's decent. Like I could see the Jets defense getting beat by Njoku and Jukin, the running back.
yeah, they're probably going to struggle
Like
against
that.
the run as they typically do.
And you got so many new guys on the roster coming in. You got 2 new receivers, Mitchell and Mechie.
I like Mechie.
Right? You got to find how many snaps are they going to get and hope. Obviously, the targets is based on field and if he throws them the ball. But you got to get them on the field alongside whoever, like if Garrett's going to play or not. Then you got Mozzie Smith, who's been a disappointment in Dallas. But maybe he plays better here rotationally between Phillips and the kid we got from Cleveland earlier in the season.
I don't know much about Smith, to be honest with you. He's not that good.
Unfortunately, not. He hasn't popped off. He was a former first-round pick from 2023, if I'm not mistaken, late first-round pick. Just hasn't popped
Michigan
off.
State.
That's what I'm saying. Like I remember him going in the first round of the draft. And just like I kind of forgot about him. Like I just haven't heard much from him since. And then who's the defensive back from
Jasir Taylor?
Was it the Chargers?
Yes, it was the Chargers.
Do you know anything about this guy?
No.
I'm gonna look at his stats.
I just think it's a depth move because they probably needed a corner to fill out Sauce's roster spot.
Well, they have AZ Thomas, no?
Yeah, Jasir
Well,
Taylor.
just to fill a spot.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, just to since AZ moved into that starting role, I guess you need some depth there. You know what's really funny? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Luke. I'll tell you after.
I was going to say real quick on Taylor, most of his snaps, even through the past couple of years, he was drafted in 22. Most of his snaps are in specials. So he's probably like that gunner type.
I mean, hey, if he could return balls, I mean, I do like Williams, but throw another guy back there. What the hell? Can't hurt. You know what's funny though? I don't remember who it was. There was a page, one of the Jet pages I follow on Instagram. They showed last year Sauce getting burnt by
Mitchell.
By Mitchell, yeah, for that touchdown. And I was just like, here we go, we're so back.
Well, you know what's bad is I think last week he almost had a touchdown, but he did a Malachi Corley when he let go of the ball.
Oh my god.
You know what's funny, Malachi? We're going up against Malachi Corley.
I was just gonna say that, yeah. I don't know, like, has he gotten like much playing time this year? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he got a rushing touchdown a few weeks ago.
I was supposed to be going to this Browns game.
Oh, you poor soul!
I'm not going. I'm not going.
Oh,
I have a friend. Well, not really a friend. I had a coworker over the summer. He actually got fired since then, or laid off since then. So I don't really talk to him too much. But yeah, he was a huge Browns fan, and like we were looking at this game since like August, and then like he was telling me that like the Jets are worse than the Browns, and of course I had no, the Jets are better than the Browns, and he was telling me how overrated Sauce is. He's the most overrated corner in football. So we were going to go to the game, and I don't think either one of us want to go to the game now.
Yeah.
I might go watch the game somewhere with him, maybe see how he's doing, but not going to the game. Absolutely not.
It's going to be a barn burner. But I must say about Malachi Corley, he does not have a touchdown this year. 2 receptions, 17 yards, 1 first down. In terms of rushing, I mentioned his receiving stats. 2 rushes, 42 yards, 2 first downs. He's also had some return snaps, 5 kick returns for 112 yards, about 22 yards per return. So much for I didn't want to play specials.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I'm glad that he's not popping off of like another team. It does feel like we made the right decision to let this guy go. Just another great Joe Douglas draft pick.
Well, we also got to factor in for whatever reason, the past couple of years, you could go through the list: are Darius Stewart, Chad Hansen, Stephen Hill, Devin Smith, Malachi Corley, Elijah Moore. I could go on and on. Denzel Mims. For whatever reason, we have not been able to draft a wide receiver in the middle rounds. Will Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn end that streak?
And wait, Elijah Moore is still on the Browns, right?
No,
No,
he's
he's
been
on the
Buffalo.
Bills,
Oh,
and he's actually he's a pretty reliable rotational piece. He's not in every play, but he definitely gets his reps.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I will say this, because they made the 2 trades of Quinnen and Sauce, they should have accepted a 4th-round pick for Brees.
I agree. I
think if you didn't do one of those trades, I could see why you're standing pat for the 3rd rounder.
It's the risk losing him for nothing game. And I do get Liam's point about standing firm and obviously value and stuff, but what's the difference between a possibly late 3rd round pick and a 4th round pick?
Right. I get it. I get it.
I mean, you could have tried to make a deal where it's a conditional 4th round pick for the Chiefs, and maybe if Brees is, maybe based on the playoff run, it becomes a 3rd rounder.
True.
Well, because I drafted.
I
Isaiah
do like the
Pacheco.
fact that they stood pat on Jermaine, because I think teams were offering a 3rd, even though Jalen Phillips went for a 3rd, but Jalen Phillips is going to be a free agent after this season, and he's not going to stay with the Eagles. Whereas Jermaine, teams would have had another year for him. So I get why wanting a 2nd.
Didn't Phillips actually get hurt at MetLife too on that?
Yes.
On
Yes, he
that
did.
Black Friday.
He's one of the MetLife. He's one of the MetLife people.
MetLife victims.
That was the Fail Mary game, I believe.
Well, he would be a guy I would target in free agency to bring with Jermaine and McDonald for the edge rush.
Honestly, in my personal, I partially do agree with that. Also, as well, I think you guys might agree, disagree. I think Will McDonald is a glorified pass rush specialist. I think he should be a rotational guy. That's my personal
He's
opinion.
Bryce Huff.
Yeah.
He's Bryce Huff.
He's a better
Yannick
Bryce Huff.
Ngakoue. He cannot play the run. He should be a rotational guy at best. And I have nothing against the dude. I'll be honest. I hated the draft pick at the time.
I did too.
It's not
We all
hindsight.
did.
It's not hindsight. I would have preferred JSN. There was countless names I would have preferred. Will McDonald was a projected 2nd, 3rd round pick, but he is a glorified edge. He glorified situational pass rusher, pass rush specialist, whatever terminology you want to use. He's only good for so many games a year. I'm sorry to interrupt, Armin. I'll bet you if he plays less snaps, he's more efficient in terms of pressure rate, pass rush win rate, stuff like that. I bet he's more efficient.
Maybe they should use him in blitz packages only. Use him as a blitzer. I'll say this. I know I put this in the chat earlier that Jermaine and Garrett will request trade in the offseason. I think they do get traded. I think they should shop Will McDonald. He's on a rookie deal. He's not up for an extension. A team would have to pick up his 5th-year option. I think a team would rather do that. You might get a surprisingly good value from McDonald. I said if you traded him now, you might be able to get a 1st for him. You might be able to get a 2nd. You might be able to get a 2nd and a 3rd in the offseason for him.
I'm not trading Garrett. Garrett is untouchable to me.
If he requests a trade, you got to trade him because he's just going to hold out and not play.
I don't know. I don't know if he would do that.
If a team comes to you for 2 1s for Garrett Wilson, I'm shipping him out.
Luca, would you trade Garrett Wilson for 2 1s?
I'd see if you could get just a pinch more than that because you got Sauce for 2 1s, right? What's Garrett's value? I could argue Garrett is better at his position. No, maybe I'm wrong. I could argue Garrett is maybe better at his position than Sauce is at his. Stating today, not talking about when they were drafted.
I think that's fair.
Or 2023. This dude has put up 1,000 yards every season. I don't know where he's at right now in terms of the yards. I don't know if he's going to hit 1,000 yards, but he is a better position player at his position than Sauce Gardner is. So I'd say, you know what? 2 first-round picks, maybe a 2nd, maybe a 3rd or something like that. Like add in something additional because you can't.
Would you want a player back in a deal with him? Like let's say a deal is like Sauce, 2 1s and the player, but the player's better than what you got back then
if he's not a scrub and he's actually can be impactful, absolutely, I would take that.
So far this year, Garrett Wilson has 395 yards. He might just miss the 1,000.
Thanks a lot, Justin Fields.
I called it. I said it in the offseason. I said by bringing Justin Fields in, watch, this will give me the year Garrett doesn't hit 1,000 yards. That doesn't matter. I mean, like, it's nice to have him have those, the 1,000 yards, but like that to me, that doesn't make or break him.
No, it doesn't.
Prior to the Quinnen trade, I thought about this trade from a few days ago because I was reading up on the Jaguars that they needed DT help, and this was just a player-for-player swap that I thought about. Quinnen for Brian Thomas Jr. We would have gotten BTJ on a rookie deal that would have given us a wide receiver 2 to go along with Garrett for next year.
You know who got traded today? I was going to send it to you, and I kind of forgot. Jacoby Myers.
That's right.
Yes. 4th and a 6th.
Would you guys have done it?
I don't think we were in the position to buy. Me personally, I mean, I do get. True. I mean, that sounds kind of hypocritical because we just bought Adonai Mitchell. We got John Mechie, but in terms of full stock buying, I don't think we were. I mean, he's gonna be a free agent in March, if I'm not mistaken. So you can sign him.
I've been saying. When did I say this? This was like August. I was like, bring him in, trade for him. I think
at that time in August we were all for trading for Jacoby Myers because you're getting him at the start of the season.
When did me and you had like a full-on argument about this?
It had to be somewhere in August. I could remember this happening. And Dan, I'm pretty sure I think Dan wanted to trade for Jacoby Myers.
I for whatever like reason remember being like the only one. And I was just fighting all of you off. You should have seen me out there.
No, you probably were fighting Dan off.
No, I think I was fighting you.
No, I was for it. In August, I was for bringing in Jacoby Myers. At the time it was being revealed, you still had Amari Cooper on the free agency before he went to the Raiders and then retired. So my argument was you still had 2 veteran receivers on the free agent market.
Maybe it was Dan then. I don't know.
Because Dan also wanted to trade for Terry McLaurin.
Yes. To be fair,
I think I've been right more on this show than Dan has.
Oh, we throw some crazy things out there. Leave Dan alone. He's a good guy.
So I want to bring this up to you because I was watching this football podcast. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. It was with Connor Rogers, who works for SNY, does the Jet Post games, and I think the guy's name is Trevor Sickiam. They do like a football show like every week.
Yeah.
They go live, and Sickiam brought up a guy that could have been like he thought just like a dark horse guy you trade for. I'm thinking do this in the offseason. Jackson Powers Johnson. Now coming out of college, he was a center, but with the Raiders, he moved to guard. If the Jets need a new center for next year, right? You trade for him. You could trade a draft pick for him. You move him to center. You keep Tippmann at guard.
I like that idea.
I like that
because JPJ is on his rookie contract, and Tippmann is arguably a better guard than a center.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to that at all. I like that.
And you
idea.
would still have to. You could bring back Simpson or find a new guard in the draft, or find some stopgap veteran that's a 1-year guy.
Now,
would you want to move on from Simpson?
Would you guys move on from Simpson, or I know like this year doesn't quite live up to what he was last year, but would you guys bring him back?
I'm sorry, bring
1-year deal, yes.
John Simpson.
Maybe in a 1 year, maybe.
I think if you're moving on from him, it has to be in the draft, and it has to be a higher. Like maybe it's one of the first, maybe it's the second rounder, maybe it's one of the second rounders. Maybe you trade up in the draft. Maybe you take the 2-2s and trade back into the first to have 3-1s.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, anyway, I think we've said all we've had to say about this. Does anybody else have anything to add to this, or?
Now, I just want to ask Armin before we
Sure.
get out of here. Do you share some Jet fans' concerns, just a little bit like myself, that we're in the same position similar to 2020, where we really need to hit on these draft picks and like the vibe of that? And do you how far do you trust this regime to finally turn it around? I know. Again, 7 games, 8 games, whatever. I've been very skeptical, obviously, but are you kind of worried? As much as it's beneficial for the future, are you scared, or I shouldn't say scared, a little pessimistic that we're kind of in the same position as we were in 2020, just accepting a full rebuild and the picks not conveying? The Jamal Adams picks did, as I mentioned earlier, but the rest of the stuff.
Was Jamal a part of the 2020 roster, or was he traded at that time?
He was traded for the 2 shortly before
Mhm.
the season in July.
Mhm.
I remember that.
And we got.
I would say with every new regime, you're always going to be skeptical and worried, right? No matter what team you are, and obviously it's us, the Jets, so everything's magnified because it just seems like everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
I would say it's based on what they do with the picks. If they keep them all and go the whole youthful route, 100% you could be worried. If you take some of the picks and trade for some veteran players at certain spots, wide receiver, maybe a second tight end to pair with Mason Taylor, maybe an edge rusher, and you have to see what they do with the picks, whether it's selecting players or trading for players.
Absolutely.
Maybe it takes some. Here's a home run swing. I know he's coming off of his injury, but he hasn't played yet this year. But maybe in the offseason, maybe it doesn't cost you much because it's a salary dump. Maybe you take the chance on Brandon Ayuk. Look at what the 49ers did this year. They gutted their roster and took a lot of dead cap. They've been dying to get out of the Ayuk contract.
Yeah, it's true.
Go ahead, Armand.
Maybe it cost you a fourth. If you had the third, maybe it cost you the third. But if you had the third, that you could have looking for Brees, because
We also
maybe
I'm sorry to
maybe it's the Cowboys' second rounder, but you get back Ayuk, and maybe you get back 2 picks. Maybe you get back like the 49ers third this year, and maybe you get back Ayuk in 2/3 for the second rounder, the Cowboys' second rounder this year.
Well,
also,
go ahead.
I was going to say as well, also, the bad part about next year, and we have a lot of cap space regardless, is the Jets opted to, which I disagreed with, opted not to take the full Aaron Rodgers hit this year. They split it in half. I don't know how they did. I don't remember how they did the Devontae Adams cap hit, but they split it down the middle this year, and I was not.
I agree. I said they should have learned from the Broncos when they cut Russell Wilson and took on the whole dead cap for 1 season.
I think they should have too, because now that we have all that money next year, but we're gonna have to give half of it away.
I think there's also, if you guys could look up on Spot Track as well, we also got some dead money coming off the books on the books, should I say, with Alan Lazard. He's a free agent next year, but we also got 2 void years.
Should have just cut him in June and saved $9 million.
Do you see it? Oh, we'll bring 6 rings in. Do you see any way that we bring him back next year, Alan Lazard?
No. He's good as gone. I think if Rodgers comes back next year to the Steelers, I think he's going to be shining the black and gold brigade.
6 rings. Oh, here we go.
Oh, my God.
So Aaron Glenn's the guy, right?
Nobody said that.
I did. That motherfucker's a guy.
Hello, gentlemen.
What's up?
So you guys got a lot for Sauce. That's not bad. 2 firsts.
I'm happy with it.
You had to take it, yeah.
And a player, Donnie Mitchell, so we had some wide receiver help. You know what I like about this, and like the Quinnen Williams deal, we got a ton of compensation back, and we didn't really create any holes while doing so. So to me, like that was the smartest outcome. This was the best outcome. So with that being said, Johnny Boy, 6 rings. How you boys doing?
Chilling, man. Good mood, really well. My man Muji was cooking today.
Absolutely.
5 number ones in the next 2 years. 2 second-round picks next year as well. On top of those, I think 3 number ones that we get to pick this upcoming
in 27.
or in 27. 2 next year. I mean, Quinnen, the whole conversation was that the dude was not going to be here, that he was supposedly wanting out.
Not once,
And
like 3 times.
Three times.
so,
And Dallas has been talking to the Jets about Quinnen since week 1. When
You
they
got a
wanted
lot
to
for
do-
Quinn Williams. I didn't think you'd get a first.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying like a third maybe for Quinnen.
Well, a lot of
said
people,
second.
Yeah.
a lot of
I would
people
love-
kept.
Go ahead, Johnny Boy. I'll answer after you.
I mean, a lot of people were saying that it was that the comp was 2 when everybody didn't want that, right? Like I didn't want that. I thought he could get a number 1, but you had, I think it was Connor Hughes, the one that was saying that he had spoke to somebody and they were like, we keep hearing it's not going to be no more than a number 2, and look what they did, So the Mazzie Smith pick, I love that, bro. Yo, when he came out of Michigan, I don't know if you guys remember him, but my man was a monster.
He's a big boy.
These guys are essentially, look, I love Quinnen Williams and I loved Sauce Gardner. Okay, I did, but big shout out to Glenn and to Muji, because we're something that's not being talked about, right? All these guys have ever done is lose. You sent Sauce into a contending team right now that looks like it's trying to do something, and then you send Quinnen over there that potentially could be now the anchor for that line over there in the Cowboys. So let them deal with the money that's coming up for him. We don't have to worry about that, especially since it was talked about that he possibly wasn't going to be here. These moves are future moves. I know the guy is homegrown, et cetera, but I am hyped about the AD Mitchell signing as well, man. You bringing them back with Aaron Smith. When them cats were injured together, they built a huge connection when they were over there in Georgia. With Mechie, the upside on the guy, there is film when he was up in Houston cooking Stingley, and some people say that Stingley was better than Sauce. So all these guys are above 6 feet, so you're giving whichever quarterback's going to be playing the position for the New York Jets a bigger target, which is, to me, which is big, and that's what Fields has always wanted and had, and what he was successful in, where he could throw those balls, those jump balls, and them guys could, win on those 50-50. So I don't know, it's intriguing, but it don't matter if you don't hit on the quarterback at the end of the day.
I think Mechie is a free agent after this season, so he's kind of like trying out to either be brought back by the Jets or to get another roster spot with another team.
So 6 rings. Let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
As an outsider looking in at the Jets organization, what are your thoughts on the moves that you saw?
Well, you have a lot of options now with that pick. If you guys lose a lot, like you should, you can trade that first overall pick and get a bunch of pieces too.
Mm-hmm.
Because quarterbacks, historically, it doesn't have to be number 1 or 2.
That's true. That is
Quarterbacks,
true.
like Drake May was 3.
Am I the
There's
only
a lot.
one?
Patrick Mahomes was top 15.
10. He was 10th overall. Chiefs traded up with the Bills.
Bo Nix,
Yeah, Jackson Dart.
Jackson
Yep.
Dart, there's plenty of examples. Tom Brady,
Usually the first quarterback take it is
Jimmy
not
Garoppolo. There's a lot of examples of quarterbacks that did not go number 1 or 2 that have had success.
Lamar, 32nd.
Look at the last 10 number 1 picks. None of them have transitioned.
But Joe Burrow, I mean, that's one.
That's one, right? And the other ones.
Luka, you look like
So you have a lot of options. You can go get a player. You can swap that first pick and get an immense amount of value in first for it too. There's options. But you have to get the quarterback right. Historically, the Jets don't get the quarterback right. So that's the priority.
Now, do you think the Jets would be better suited to draft a quarterback with this unproven organization, or would they be better suited taking some of that capital that they have and trading for a quarterback?
Depends who. Who do you have in mind?
Well, we had discussed a couple names tonight, such as Dak Prescott was one of the names that came up.
No.
Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow.
No.
See,
And
I
then-
push back a lot on the quarterback
Burrow
on the quarterback take.
I like that idea of Burrow, and I don't think it's 100%.
Well, why don't you get your own? Reset the
Because we-
quarterback clock.
Because we can't.
You
Luka?
can. You can do it right now.
After
Well,
you, Luca.
We can technically, but like we're not good at it.
But we're not good with any quarterback. I mean, look at Rodgers.
Yeah, I know.
Luca.
I'm just trying to spice it up. I know, Luca. Yes, Luca.
Yes. Well, I was going to make a couple of notes. First of all, I remember on a show a few weeks ago, me, Dan, and Armin did predictions on what the Jets would go for. So when Dan comes back from vacation, we have to look at that and say, okay, what did Quinnen and Sauce go for? Were we right on those predictions? Because I don't think we predicted either of them. Second of all, John Mechie is actually a restricted free agent this offseason, so the Jets have first bite on him. If they could get him for like a minimum contract, I think it was like $1 million, like he could potentially earn next year. Also, as well, what nobody's pointed out, and there's two things. Number one, Adonai Mitchell, most of his reps, because obviously he was drafted last year, was Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Again, Anthony Richardson is not a good quarterback. Neither is Justin Fields. But also you're looking at Adonai Mitchell as a future wide receiver 3 or 2 with a new quarterback. So there's potential there. And I don't know if you guys saw it. You guys can look it up. The Michael Nania post. The Jets have 3 25 and under receivers who have posted elite separation grades, but have not seen the production to show it so far. That is Arian Smith. That is John Mechie. That is Adonai Mitchell, alongside Garrett Wilson. So that's potential. There was
This
another
wide receiver room looks better than it did at the start of the season.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
it's a lot of
100%.
young guys. It's a lot of young guys.
And speed.
Speed kills.
And let me say this, right? Let me push back on the quarterback talk. So you guys don't think when we had Mark Sanchez that was a bad quarterback pick
That was
for
a
what we
good
for what
quarterback.
we at that time?
was a good quarterback pick. We had a coaching staff and we had a veteran roster around him. You had 2 veteran wide receivers around him to help him. They ran the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we put him in a good situation.
So essentially, like what almost everybody in the league is doing: Daniel
Yes.
Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. I mean, we could keep it going with a lot of the quarterbacks that are there.
And
I
again,
don't-
that's pick 5, not pick 1. So again, that's another player that wasn't exactly the first overall pick.
Right.
But I understand that. But you were saying that we in the past have not picked quarterbacks that have been good, right? I don't think Sam Darnold is turning out to be. He was just put in a crap ass situation. I don't think Geno
To be
Smith
fair-
as well.
Not to cut you off, Johnny, but to be fair with Sam Darnold, like it didn't just not work here. It didn't work in Carolina either. Like he had to go sit in Kyle Shanahan's system, like a true sit for a full year before he became what he was. Now, like, we just don't have.
He also came when he had a loaded roster in Minnesota and failed the last 2 games of the season. Which who called that out? Boy, oh boy, am I a mind reader?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he came into a crap situation that nobody wanted to put players around the guy. So I can't fault him for that. It's
I don't fault Joe Douglas because the new regime always wants their own guy.
which they're doing now.
I'm going to bring up an example for next year. Luka, your brother Alex. What happens if Dable and Shane are gone? The new regime, they might just keep Jackson Dart for one season, but they still might bring in their own quarterback next year based on where they're picking.
That's true.
They might trade Jackson Dart.
But like in the Jets situation, we just don't have enough time to let these guys develop. Like that's what it is. It's like you get 3 years. I mean, Zach Wilson continues to be a bust, but like Geno Smith, after like 7 years, he turned it around. We just don't.
He's still a bust. Let's fall. He sucks this year.
Yes.
Probably leads. I think he leads the league in interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I get the want to trade for a veteran quarterback, but also as well, you're putting a lot of expectations onto next year. And it's not that it shouldn't, but it's like, I don't want to go through this fallacy or this sophistry where we think we're one quarterback away. Okay, we're just going to trade for Dak. We're going to trade for Joe Burrow. We're going to trade for Kyler Murray. We're not going to do this dance again because we're truthfully not. I mean, yes, we do need a franchise quarterback, dude, but there are holes for the roster that have to be filled out. You need some wide receiver help, proven wide receiver help. You need a second tight end. You need offensive linemen. You need 2 offensive linemen. You need some defense, back end defense. So I mean, I get it. I totally get it. It sounds nice in the sake of an idea, but the sophistry around it is essentially saying, okay, we're doing this dance again. We're one quarterback away. I get that Aaron Glenn came from the Lions perspective. We're going to trade for Jared Goff. You also got to put with whether it's the veteran quarterback or the rookie quarterback, you got to put a winning culture around this quarterback. It can't be just about, obviously supporting talent. We have to build that up. You need a winning roster. Like if you trade for Dak next year, hopefully we don't, knock wood. You're saying to yourself, okay, we're a playoff contender. And not that we shouldn't, but like, let me ask
you this, Luca, Armand, and Liam. So a player that's out there that I've always been big on, the guy reminds me of Baker, right? He's a dog, okay? And I mean because that's the team that he went and played for in college as well. He has some players that he's going to recognize all over again that are now here with the Jets itself. I do not. The quarterback class that's coming, dude, I am so skeptical about them, man. Like I am not somebody that's like all in to these quarterbacks that are coming in. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I hope they do the right thing. Let the guys sit back, right? Let them learn the speed of the NFL. Let them learn how to actually read and progress the correct way itself, and not just throw them in the market where we're like, we need you right now. But in the upcoming season, off season itself, would you take a swing and possibly bring in a kid like Stetson Bennett?
I think it's the same conversation that me and Dan and Liam were having. What was it, a week or two ago, where we brought up with the idea of Will Howard? That's like real, like, you have to measure, okay, what if this guy doesn't work out, number one? Number two, what's the ceiling of this guy? Like Stetson Bennett was like a late round pick? That's correct. A shot in the dark. And
he's like a QB3 type of guy. Like you're really like, I think the conversation is if Kyler Murray gets cut, do you bring him in to pair with Fields and a rookie quarterback? Like I think that's more. I think Stetson Bennett is like a camp body you bring into camp. And if he performs well, maybe he's a practice squad quarterback for you. Unless you just
I know when Matthew Stafford was out and they put him into it, and the dude excelled really well.
Yeah, Sean McVay. We don't have Sean McVay.
But we
have Puka Nacua.
Trade for Sean McVay.
Yeah, but Puka, what round did they get him?
That's a wide receiver, Johnny boy. That's, what was he, fourth round, late round? That's much more different than a quarterback.
That's
I know that, but we never hit on those later round picks, and we're hoping that now we have something with Arian Smith to potentially break that.
Is Stetson Bennett even on a team?
He's the backup. Yes, he's the backup to the Rams. Look it up. Matthew Stafford. He's the backup to Matthew Stafford.
I did not know that, actually.
That probably will change next year because the Rams are going to be a team that looks for
Well,
a
Stetson Bennett
quarterback.
is actually listed as the quarterback 3 behind Jimmy G.
Hey, Will Howard, same thing. I'm just taking what I'm trying to say is constant guys to bring them in and to potentially battle and not just give the complete reins to Justin Fields or to insert quarterback that they get here. Put somebody in there that's going to constantly be, because did you really believe that Tyrod Taylor was going to beat out Justin Fields? Our biggest concern with Dude was he was going to be hurt. There was people that wanted Tyrod Taylor to be the quarterback QB1 in the beginning of the season, knowing that Dude was going to get hurt by the third quarter.
And he was already hurt. He missed camp. That's why Fields was guaranteed the starting role. Besides also paying him $30 million guaranteed.
Well, he's hurt
At
again.
least Fields can be a bridge for you guys, so that's a positive again.
Yeah, and
can
he is
on. Can he be a cliff and be thrown off a cliff? Throw him off the bridge.
Throw him off the bridge.
I just like what they're doing, man. Liam, like I really like what they're doing. They're not waiting. They're not waiting for these guys that we could potentially not get anything from. And it put a complete, first off, the message that it gives into the locker room. It puts the fear of anything to all them players. Oh, you want to act up? Oh, you want to do this? Anybody could get got. And that's what that crap is showing, bro. So, like, you want that Bills Parcells, crap that everybody constantly keeps comparing freaking Aaron Glenn to and everything. Well, you just did that by making a move like this.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And nobody thought that like Sauce was getting moved. Like he's like one of the captains of the, it's like, and I don't really think he's a pain. He's not a pain in the butt, really. Like, he seemed like a loyal teammate. Like, he didn't really cause any trouble. Same thing with Quinnen. And with that being said, it's like, yeah, like you said, anybody can get got at this point. So,
but were they true leaders in there, right? Because from what I was told, the last year, DJ Reed was the leader of that secondary. It wasn't Sauce. This year, I don't even think he was a captain this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Sauce?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't think Sauce was not. Do not believe he was a captain this year. I think they had like.
It was Sherwood. Wasn't Sherwood a captain?
Sherwood, Fields, AVT, Marcelino McCrary Ball.
Yep.
None of them was.
Garrett wasn't either, right?
Garrett was he was a captain, I believe.
Yeah, I think
Garrett. It was Garrett and Fields for the offense. McCrary Ball was for special teams.
AVT
Sherwood was AVT for offense. Sherwood for defense.
So Johnny, I want to ask you this. We had talked about this earlier. You had just mentioned getting ahead, so we could get compensation for these players. One of the names that kept getting rumored and is now obviously not going anywhere, Breece Hall. Do you agree that the Jets should have held on to Breece Hall, or do you think they should have should they have traded him for that fourth today to Kansas City?
After they traded Michael Carter, I said that money is going to be the money that they're going to utilize to extend the gig.
So you think they're going to extend Breece?
I think they're going to extend the dude. I mean, they're seeing the potential home run type of running back that he is, that in a Tanner, hopefully continue to keep utilizing the right way. You're going to see the difference. You saw, yes, was the Bengals a crappy defense? I mean, yeah, they are, but
I agree.
Johnny Boy, can I do something? Because like you're gonna offer him a deal. What if he rejects the deal?
Then he was a second rounder, right?
I think he was a third.
He was a second.
No, Breece was a second.
Was he a second?
Remember, that was the same year we got Garrett, Sauce, and Jermaine. And remember, Joe Douglas was trying to trade back into the first round after JJ to get Breece in the first round, but he didn't have enough of.
Armand line.
Did we get I'm sorry. Did we get AVT in the second as well? Then
no, he was in the same year with Slick. with Rashawn Slater. We traded up above the Chargers.
Mhm.
That's right. That's right. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
Armand, like you were now, if they do not extend him, it's going to be talked about in the entire offseason itself. Why didn't we take that fourth for Brees Hall? What is Muji doing? Blah, blah, blah. You know that's going to be the noise that we're going to constantly hear if that doesn't occur. I think they're going to extend Quincy, and I think they're going to let Quincy know that we're not going to pay you $15 million or whatever that you are thinking that you're going to get. You're coming off of a down season and you coming off an injury riddled season itself. So the expectations need to be a little bit put down as well. And Brees might be getting paid $10 million a year. So
What would you be comfortable handing Brees? Like if you were to offer him a contract, what would you offer him?
$10 million a year,
For how many?
probably maybe 2 or 3.
I think it'd have to be like a 3-year, yeah.
I said 2 years, 24 million, and give him 10 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
I would want it incentivized as humanly possible. You know,
That's the other thing. I never understood that. Why don't most organizations do that? Incentivize a lot of these players that are playing that position itself. Like, bro, I'm just being very facetious right now, but give me like 50 touchdowns this year and we're gonna pay you a bag and all that.
Because their agents fight to get that guaranteed money because that that's
because it's not a fully guaranteed contract.
And you can get hurt at any time. Luca. Yes, Luca.
Can I push back on something real quick? Johnny, are you really comfortable with paying 2 linebackers big money?
I don't think Quincy is going to the man, and I think that if he does say I want that, right? Do I think they were trying to trade him? Yes. Do I think they were getting anything from him? No. So
I like Quincy.
I do like Quincy too, but I don't believe that. I think what the conversation was potentially 15 mil a year for his position, right, Luca? If I'm not mistaken,
And you gave that to Sherwood.
Correct.
Yes.
So I don't think that he's going to get anywhere near that.
Hypothetically, I think if the Cowboys didn't trade for the Bengals linebacker, I could have easily seen Quincy and Quinnen being packaged for that deal that they got Quinnen for. The second, the first, and Mozzie Smith for Quincy and Quinnen. Maybe you get a late round pick. Maybe it's a second, a first, and let's just say a sixth, and Mozzie Smith for Quinton and Quinnen.
Yeah, I would have taken that. It would have looked like more 50-50 than one-sided, but I definitely think we got the better of that trade, of both trades, really, so
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll say this, I think if Brees gets extended, I could see them at least listening on Braylon Allen.
I don't really want to touch the running back room. Like, if anybody is going to go, I guess it's going to have to be Isaiah Davis.
I think they keep all 3, bro, and they keep
I do too.
What if a team comes at you and offers you a third rounder for Braylon Allen? I think you got to take it.
You take it. Yeah, I mean, you take it.
You were trying to get a third rounder for Brees. I'm
just saying, I don't like what we've seen so far and what Muji and this regime has done. I think it's been very well. The draft picks that they've picked already are starting to look like something, right? So we could go with Armand, right? Armand, our right tackle right over there, Membu. You got Mason Taylor, right? Arian Smith with the whole separation stuff that you have there. You can't teach that, man. Is either you have that or you don't. The Malachi Moore, the Kiko conversation, because Kiko did not look bad prior to him getting hurt itself. So then you got the free agents that they've brought in. The Brandon Smith is looking a lot better than what we thought that was going to be in the very beginning. AZ Thomas looks like he is the apparent which he is now. I mean, the taking over Sauce. Do I think that the concussion stuff that was going on with Sauce was maybe, dragged a lot more so they could truly see what they have in AZ Thomas? I think so. I think this whole Sauce stuff, and that's the other thing.
That's a good
Kudos
point.
kudos to the Jets for finally having everything in house, because nobody thought that Sauce Gardner was going to be the one that was going to be traded.
And
Everybody was saying
this is it didn't come out of the blue either. Like, you don't just trade a guy like Sauce Gardner. Like, you don't get a phone call today and you're like, yeah, do it. Like this has been worked out.
he
Thanks,
said it.
guys. I gotta get ready for work. Take care.
All right, hey, the Patriots suck. Oh, well. It's got to give them crap, man.
Such a troublemaker. Yeah,
Hey.
I don't know what I was expecting tonight, but it was more than more back and forth. I texted Dan. I was like, we got Johnny and 6 Rings on the same show tonight.
It's all good, man. I don't want to mess with a guy that lives in a mansion.
You
I
can't
have a little. This is my little shack. My
your
bathroom's
little
right over there
your
somewhere.
little shoebox. Yeah.
Yeah, So
Outhouse.
yeah, I just open up the window and let it out, and just
That's
throw
it.
it in the lake.
That's what they do at One Jets Drive as well.
100%. I look, man. It's the future's looking good. If I'm going to be honest with you guys, the biggest thing for me and they've made pretty solid is our offensive line, because now it's easier to get a guard. There are some centers that are coming out. I really like the guy that's coming out of Iowa, right? Which that could potentially be, I think, they're saying maybe second, third round for that guy, Luca, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not totally sure. I've never even heard of the guy. I'll look it up for you.
So do they go ahead and bring Simpson back? I think they're going to bring Simpson back too, if I'm being honest with you guys.
Would you bring him back personally?
I would.
Because, well, he's not the same player that he was last year. He's like a penalty machine. Armand, I agree with you. I think it'd have to be like a 1-year prove it deal.
But it's also, you got to remember, Liam, it's a whole new system that they're learning.
Correct.
No, I know.
So that's why he's, even though he did have penalty problems in Baltimore,
We went
I
from
mean, it's a whole new system, a whole new coaching staff this year.
And a lot of his penalties, Liam, are penalties where he's trying to defend his quarterback, bro.
I love that he goes to bat for his quarterback. Like that fight. Who were we playing when that fight broke out?
Everybody the above. Dude, that dude is always in the middle of some stuff. And again,
He would have been great to protect Zach Wilson, because none of the offensive line that was here for Zach protected Zach when he got.
And that's
Was
what
that might have been the Panthers game. But
That's
anyway, we have 100 viewers, so definitely hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so.
Johnny, I believe the guy you're talking about is Logan Jones. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah,
but speaking of former Iowa centers, Tyler Linderbaum's a free agent in the offseason.
He's gonna get signed by Baltimore. They don't let their guys go.
Yeah.
Don't start smoking the crack, Luca.
Hey,
He's staying in Baltimore.
But you never know, man. Money talks.
So
Right?
he is staying in Baltimore. Trust me.
Muji gonna call him up and be like, "Hey, what's up, bro? You want to be the
They
face
will
of the
tag
New York
him.
Jets?"
He's either getting extended or he's getting tagged.
Armand, I could dream, man. Okay, let me freaking dream.
Johnny,
bro.
can I give you a realistic option? I don't know if you heard me a few minutes ago. I heard this yesterday on another football podcast. It was a guy brought up JPJ from the Raiders. He's playing guard, but he came out of college as a center. One of the guys on the podcast brought him up as a dark horse that he could be a trade candidate for today, but obviously he wasn't. But maybe you call up the Raiders in the offseason, trade for JPJ. He is your center. We're keeping Tippmann at guard, and either you bring back Simpson or you go look for a guard in the draft.
I mean, why not? Where was he? JPJ Ducks?
Oregon.
Right?
Oregon,
Yeah. Yep. So, dude, I'm all about the line, bro. Like, that's what you need, man. And that's the thing that worries me about Mendoza. bro, if you see his games, bro, that line that he has the craziest pocket, bro. And like when he's back there and these people are not, I do like Surratt. I think Surratt, whatever his name is, the wide receiver that he has over there. That dude's nasty. But again, with the Mendoza stuff, man, bro, yes, he could progress. He has that and everything, but is it more of the system that they have over there? But he also did pretty well in Cal the year before he transferred over to Indiana. So it's such a crapshoot, bro, with quarterbacks, man. So I don't know.
And it really comes down to, can you develop them or not? Like, that's really the biggest thing. You know, you can be, how many times we've seen it where you're a great college quarterback and suck in the NFL. And that's really the thing that worries me, you know, like more than like drafting the quarterback. Obviously, that is a big, you know, concern of mine. But coaching him up and getting him ready for the NFL, like Josh Allen is the perfect example. Like, he wasn't a polished quarterback coming out of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him now. You know, it's like if you have the right coaching staff, then you could win anything.
What draft was that again, Liam?
2017 to 2018.
18.
That's bro. Hey, look, Armand has been saying that shit. I mean, that stuff forever and a day in regards to that, and it's the truth. I feel like, if I'm being honest with you guys, the New York Jets, if a quarterback comes into this position as a quarterback, I think they have a big one up around, because normally, right, when you are a top pick, you go into a team where their line is crap. Like, they're super bad. They're not gonna have that when they come over here. You got your two bookends, right? You got your potential center or right guard in freaking Tittman, because I still don't know how that's gonna go, right? Dude, but I have to say, Tittman's been looking incredible at guard, bro. Like, when he gets to that second level, like, he's like picking dudes up, bro, and just moving them down. You ever seen the movie with Sandra Bullock, The Blind Side?
Yeah.
That one scene when dude like picks up homie and is dragging him all the way to the touchdown and flips him over. That's what you're
the
seeing.
Blind Side for Michael. That was the Michael
O'Hare. Yes. So it's, again, I'm a trench dude, man. Like, I've always been somebody that's like, I believe in building a team from the trenches itself and then build out, you know? So,
and I think our offensive line is pretty set. You know,
I would say 3 out of the 5 spots is set. Tittman, Membu, Bashanu.
I like Josh Myers.
I do too. A lot of people don't. I don't know why. I like what he is, and he's not going to cost you an arm and a leg.
How old is he? He's still fairly young, right?
He's what, 28, 29?
And this might be crazy, but I'm going to say this. I would take AVT at a favorable deal for us as a depth piece, in a sense to where it's like, you know, something happens to Tittman or anything, you got that player that could go and come in and hope that he will be able to stay healthy. But he has to earn it, man, because he can't stay healthy, bro. And it's the truth. So, like, I think he's not going to make a lot of money like other people are going to think. But he might want out of New York. He might want that change of scenery.
I think he moved his family back to California.
He did. He moved everybody back to Cali as well. But then again, he was the other night on the Islanders game with Ruckert and all them boys as well, with the linemen too and everything. So
I'm glad you brought up Ruckert. How awesome is it that we finally have a tight end in Mason Taylor? Like, that dude's legit. I love Mason Taylor. I'm such a Mason Taylor fan. But do you think Jeremy Ruckert's gone after this year?
I don't think so, bro.
I don't.
He's been looking. He's been looking good as the second tight end, bro. He's been blocking really, really, really well. And
maybe maybe he's next year's back. Tight end, fullback.
Correct.
You still need another tight end in the room.
Correct. That's
And
what I'm
I
saying.
don't-
Maybe maybe pull up the Raiders from Michael Mayer.
Like, I don't just want to start creating holes for the sake of, like, I don't want to be like, oh, this is the new regime. We have to get rid of everybody. Like, if there's some value in guys, keep them. Like, I don't just want to start creating holes.
Dude, and if Justin
I
Fields
think
is
he's
here,
serviceable.
my
What
bad.
about it?
I mean, and if Justin
No.
Fields here, that's one of his dudes, man. Bro, and
Yeah,
he grew
that's
up.
not playing heavy dividends this year, though.
I think it still is, man. If I'm being honest with you, bro, if Justin Fields is here next year, I know we don't want it and everything. Could you imagine we had a quarterback that could get the ball out, bro? This line said, this man is holding the ball for over 6 seconds. We need to hold everybody for over 7 seconds on the line, and we need to do better, bro. When I heard Tittman say that, I was like, they're not trying to make excuses. They're saying we need to do better. Then we need to protect longer. It's crazy coming back from what we had before, bro. So like,
And yeah. And we haven't really had a tight end since Dustin Cowher. I mean, like, you think back to, like, Austin Safari and Jenkins and Cumberland and Chris Herndon, Ryan Griffin. Like,
Doug
there's been
Jolly.
Doug Jolly, yeah, that's another one. But there's been so many tight ends, like the carousel, and like Mason Taylor. I love. Yeah.
The Sticky Bandit. You remember him?
Which one?
The Sticky Bandit, our tight end.
Who's the Sticky Bandit?
Bro, you don't know who the Sticky Bandit? His dad played in the NFL too. He was a junior.
He was a tight end for the Jets?
Yeah, bro.
Does anybody else know who this guy is?
No.
Luca? Armand? No? I don't. I'm going to know in a second when you tell me, but
Kellen Winslet Jr.
Oh
No.
Jesus!
the Sticky Bandit, yeah.
That's
You
his,
should have said.
that's his nickname, bro.
You should have called him the prisoner.
Yes, Luca.
Two things I would remark in the tight end position. Number one, if the Jets don't re-sign Ruckert, I am a big fan, just because I watched the Giant games along with my brother, of Daniel Bellinger, tight end 2. Good blocking tight end. I think he's undervalued in the receiving game. And I got to take Johnny up on, yes, Membu has worked out this far, but how's Tyler Warren looking there, Johnny? I know you had some concerns coming into the year. You were like, he only had 1 year of major production at Penn State. He was behind Theo Johnson. How's Tyler Warren doing? Because I think he's doing pretty damn good over there in Indy.
I mean, look.
Well, because Daniel Jones gets the ball out, Justin Fields doesn't.
But if I would still stand on it and say that I would still take Membu over Tyler Warren, bro. Like, I want the trenches. Did I think Tyler Warren is a really good tight end coming out? Yes. Do I think that the need that we needed more was on the line? Yes, 100%, bro. So like, yo, he is a balling dude. I picked him up on fantasy pretty much on every single team that I have, and that dude has been going off for me. But there he is.
I stayed on extra long just to make sure he makes it.
I
fix this team or what, Johnny?
Huh?
Yeah, you fixed it after. Actually, I got some Zach Rosenblatt tweet here. By the way, on the Adonai Mitchell part of the Sauce trade, the Jets pushed the Colts to add him into the deal. He wasn't originally part of it. They believe in his potential. So essentially, it was only going to be 2-1 from the Colts, but the Jets wanted Mitchell.
Moja was cooking, baby. He was cooking in there, dude.
Afram, how you feeling about today's trades?
Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic. Hey, I'm going to keep saying, you got rid of 2 guys to get 6 potential starters.
Which one definitely might not have been here next year if the reports are all saying that Quinnen wanted out.
Three times this year. What's his name? Connor Hughes had said. He requested 3 times throughout the year. So listen, let him go on his way. You know, you weren't going to give him another contract anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
Exactly.
I think after next season, his guaranteed money is out, is done. After next year,
Listen,
Yep.
the $22 million after that.
yeah, we're going to have with the increase, we probably have a little over $100 million to spend.
Crazy.
We
You
got to
get
give some of
good-
that to Aaron.
You pick good. You draft good. You get some really, some good free agents in here. You could turn this thing around very quickly.
Liam, and I think that's including Aaron's, if I'm not mistaken.
With Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I think that's including
Yeah,
Aaron
the
Rodgers.
dead money in 2026. I don't think there's. Hold on. Over the cap. 26.
Yeah, and while he's looking for that, Armand, how about our guy Dominic Mysterio?
What'd he do?
Yo, that dude's the truth, bro. That dude's funny as crap, man.
He's gonna retire. He's gonna retire his daddy in San Diego at Survivor Series.
Dude, agreed, man. And that might bring tears to a lot of people, bro.
You know what would be even better? He gets his father not just to retire, but to remove his mask.
So you got 35 million dead money with Aaron Rodgers, 11 with Armand Gardner. Quinnen is 9.8 million. Mosley 7.6 mil, and Michael Carter 6.8. It's a total of 71 million dead money for next year, and we still get over $100 million to
See,
spend.
Liam? Yo, bro, Muji, bro, he's cooking, dog. That's crazy. From where we were at to where this is going, and it's like a lot of Afram and myself got to give it time, man. You let these guys cook. Let him do what he needs to keep doing. Let it go and everything, and you're seeing it, bro. Two, and you got AD Mitchell. And they were that wasn't even in the conversation. And this dude was like, what
You
was
also
it?
got Menchie.
Correct. What was that movie?
8
I think it
Mile.
was called Draft Day, when he was like, and he's like, give me that punter just because I feel like it.
You can't take
Putney.
anything MF.
David Putney.
David goddamn Putney.
Yep.
Yeah.
The putts.
It's dude, I don't know when's the last time we've seen something like this within the Jets organization, if I'm being honest with you. Can you guys think of anything?
Not to this extent.
Jamal
no.
Adams trade where he acquired 2 first-round picks.
But that was it, right? Though, right?
Well,
Not with
we got McDougal out of that too.
Oh my God, I want to
Dexter McDougal.
Bradley McDougal, the safety.
Bradley McDougal.
He was terrible.
I didn't think I'd ever say his name again. I'm surprised that came to me so quickly too.
This is part 1. Part 2 has to be who they pick.
Yeah, this is like the easy part, really.
All right.
Let me ask you this. So there's a big part of me that I don't think we go quarterback as our first pick next year. There's a giant part of me that does not think we go quarterback.
Waste the year. You cannot waste a year.
I know, but with
I do have a question because I'd like to bring this up.
Sure.
So I follow Todd McShay and his podcast, and I saw a clip. Somebody brought this up as a generalization for the draft. If the first round quarterbacks next year decide to stay in school, how does that affect the draft with the other positions? Like, who would be the top pick?
Stay in school, kids.
So, if the quarterbacks were to stay in school, because you got that NIL money,
How much are they getting in INL?
they could make millions.
Well, I mean,
Millions, bro.
be realistic.
Millions.
Is it more than getting the #1 overall pick money?
What is it? What is the first, like, what is it at
You're
that
talking
point?
about 11 million, 12 million as a #1 pick?
What's Archie making right now? Something ridiculous, right? Close to, like, I think 12 or 13 with the NIL deal that he just did.
I'll check. 5.5 million. Let me double check. 6.8 million in NIL earnings. Somewhere $5-6 million.
For Archie.
That is correct.
And then if he gets a torn ligament or anything like that, it's done. His value goes straight down. These guys are taking chances staying in school for an extra year.
I mean, that's the whole Drew Aller thing, though, right?
Yeah, well, you
So,
know,
and that's the
that's
other
it.
thing. So let's just say Drew Aller, right? Now, I know a lot of people are not, like, about this guy at all. But if he drops into the second, a kid that was maybe going to be first rounder, would you take a swing at him?
If he's, I don't know what they considering, but you know, you got to hope to be
You gotta
the one there to pick him.
you gotta check the medicals out too with him.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
And you got and you gotta have a belief in his talent, not just what's on tape, and not what you just see at the combine. If he goes to the combine and throws, a lot of the quarterbacks, a lot of these kids go to the combine just to do the interviews and not do a lot of the testing because they don't want to get hurt
It's true.
Hey, Luca,
and they don't want to hurt their stock because they
You're-
could hear something.
you're in Tennessee right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So what's the thoughts on somebody that I don't think is being talked about enough, right? Is Aguilar. It's a senior year, isn't it?
Let me check. Also, I want to remark on.
last year didn't they say wait till this year to get the quarterback?
That's what they were saying. I think it's
And
every
so
it's
now
super
next
crappy.
year's the
And
year. Next year's the
and
year
now
to get
they're-
the quarterback.
Now they're pushing it to 27. They're saying that whole class is going to be special, not just quarterbacks.
And what do
Joey,
you
that
always say,
entire-
Armand?
You never know. It's not a guarantee.
You grab the guy.
2017 to 2018, we kicked the can down the road because we had to suck for Sam. And in the end, it was the job for Josh or lose for Lamar, and we didn't do that.
Well, I was going to say about Johnny's question. Joey Aguilar is actually a graduate, so he can come out whenever he wants, I guess. He's 24 years old. He'd be 25 next year. I haven't heard much because I haven't talked to a lot of. I'm going to talk when I get in the station next week. I'm going to talk to a lot of guys to gauge the college football market, see what everybody's thinking about this quarterback. But I don't know what else was I was going to say, but just
You were going to talk about Drew Aller.
Oh, Drew Aller, no. Not with the second round pick. You want to do fourth round pick if his value falls that much? Sure. The dude is, regardless of injury, he is a big game choker. He choked against Notre Dame last year. He choked against Oregon this year. Yes, he's played on the East Coast. I get that. I don't know if he was born in PA or whatever. Whatever. He is the classic choker. Sorry. He
boy.
is. But here's the thing. I
knew a girl that was her nickname once.
I will say they said the same about Jackson Dart melting down. If you want a silver lining. So, considering Jackson Dart, taking a chance on Drew Aller is a possibility. Again, does he fall to the second round? Does he fall to the fourth round? Whatever. It's a question.
My thing is you wait the second year on any quarterback to see how they are. The first year is always you don't know what you're playing against. It's a chess game, and it's the second year when they start defending against him and see how he handles it. You know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's then you can go by any quarterback at that point if they're solid. And we don't know what the Giants, even if they have the same coaching staff next year. Same thing with a lot of these teams.
It's true.
You know.
Yeah.
But you need to have. I want one guy to sit for a year while we have a quarterback in hand. And
I'm trying to point to Johnny Boy because he's a hand raised.
Yeah. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yes, Johnny.
Hey, how you guys doing? Johnny Boy here.
One ring.
Hey, so let me ask this. He got cleared. Would you bring Asante Samuel Jr. on over? Because he's a free agent, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's coming back from a neck injury, I believe it is.
I don't know if he's going to go to a 1-17 to finish out this season. He
But
might
I
want to
mean-
go to a play. He might want to play for a playoff team this year just to get, to make the playoffs and play. If he plays well, he might get a decent contract in the offseason. You might want to consider it. I was banging that drum in the offseason before I knew he had the neck surgery. I
So-
said that.
I don't know if this holds any weight, but doesn't his dad have like beef with Revis and the Jets?
He does
With
constantly.
the whole
always-
Revis thing, yeah, I remember that.
But
Yeah, I don't know if that would play a role.
would
or
he
not.
not want to come to a team that has a head coach that was and played his position and excelled in that position, that he could learn more stuff from that? Does that hold any weight at all?
Next year, not this year. He's going to want to be on a playoff team and try to win a Super Bowl.
How old
But
is he now?
that's-
He's like,
He's young, still.
25, 26.
25, yeah.
yeah.
But that's what I mean. You could be like, hey, bro, we could give you the potential of being the it guy over here if you want to, but you gotta, 1-year deal. We gotta see what you're working with and all that.
But-
I don't know. I'm just throwing darts out there. That's all I'm doing. I'm not really
Not
like,
not right now. Next year, yes. But I think he might. I think the Chiefs might look at him. I could see Baltimore, even though they just traded for Jair Alexander, they might look to bring him in. I mean,
Let me
Maybe
ask you this:
Eagles.
if the Jaguars don't do good again this year, do you think Lawrence is available? Do you
I
think Liam
mentioned
Cohen
this.
wants his own quarterback?
I mentioned it.
No, because I think Lawrence is the reason why he went to Jacksonville.
Yeah, but if he has the opportunity to get a number one pick that will get him a quarterback that he starts from scratch with.
What if Jacksonville collapses at the end of this year? Everybody else is doing their job. The defense is playing their ass off, and they figure, hey, we're a quarterback away. Our quarterback screwed us at the end. What if that's a possibility? Because Lawrence, as many can mention, he's nowhere near the prospect that he was coming out.
Generational guy that everyone said.
Generational? No, he's not. He's nowhere near that. He's like an above.
What are you trading for Trevor Lawrence?
I'm not trading for Trevor Lawrence.
No, so you wouldn't consider him?
I don't want to try to redo a reclamation project on a quarterback. I'm sorry.
what would it take, right? So that contract is something really nasty right now, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
was it
It's
$54
gonna
million?
it's gonna cost you a first. It's gonna cost you a first. They're not. You're gonna have to give up one of the first.
But
Alfred-
we are going to get ready to wrap it up. Me and Luke have been on here for 2 hours now.
Oh shit.
You're young.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I know, but I got to get up at 4:30.
Oh, you're young. You could stay up late. Drink a Monster
You
Energy
can work
drink.
a 36-hour job.
Well, yeah. The Hamptons need their electric. I'm telling you. But any last words?
Yeah,
See what happens with
it's
Breeze.
gonna cost a first. Do you really want to give up a first for Trevor Lawrence?
No, I don't think it'll take a first.
Oh, it's gonna take a first. Jacksonville's not gonna let him go without getting the first rounder.
Yeah, but if they
Aaron-
want him out.
Aaron
I don't
Glenn.
think they're gonna want. I don't think they're gonna want him out.
Dan
Aaron
must be
Glenn.
happy.
Yeah. Aaron Glenn said, we're going to make moves that not a lot of people are going to like and are going to completely wow them. And he's been sticking to that. And it's not
Goodbye,
the only,
Garrett.
and it's
And
not
you-
the only, I don't think
I
it's
know.
I don't think Garrett goes, man, but I think Garrett has shown him that he wants to be here and that he's going to do it. I remember last year where people were like complaining about
Times
Garrett,
change, Johnny.
but Garrett
Moods can
saying,
change.
going on the sideway. And they were saying, oh, he's immature. I always saw it as a guy that wants to win. Not many people saw that. I don't know, man. Look, I think
Look at what happened. Where was it? London. Look at what happened in London between him and Glenn, and look at what the post game Says I knew what the plan was and I didn't like
Yeah.
it.
No, but if you get a young quarterback, you want a guy. You need a guy that's going to help a young quarterback. You need a number one receiver.
But does Garrett want to stick with the young guy?
Yes.
Gary got his money. Gary's hungry.
Garrett, the Soft got his money, but they still traded him.
Yeah,
But it
because
wasn't. But
he
it wasn't as
didn't change.
It wasn't as guaranteed
It was built
as
a
it
certain way.
was. Yeah, as it is for Garrett. So it's completely different. We will
Right.
lose out so much
Don't
with
be
Garrett.
surprised if Garrett Wilson requests a trade in the offseason.
He would have
I'm telling
requested.
y'all right now. You
He
have to
requested
trust
it with-
me. How many times have I been right on this show?
Yeah.
Please trust the
If-
Godfather.
If Aaron Rodgers was back, he would have requested a trade.
I 100% agree with you on that.
Oh, I agree with that.
I agree with you.
Justin Fields kept him here.
And who's the guy that
I
brought
think
him over to
they
make him
brought in
happy?
Fields because of Garrett to you know.
So what does that tell you? You just answered it right there for me.
Yeah, but now Garrett realizes Justin Fields is garbage.
So make
he
a
needed
difference.
to see it. He needed to see it for himself to believe
No,
it.
because he followed Aaron Rodgers' footsteps. I got to bring my friends in. That's what he did. He goes,
Listen,
am I
they-
wrong?
they had
Where's the
teams-
lie?
They had teams calling, and they told them no.
That's
And
true.
today, after Sauce got traded, Connor Hughes said that the same phone was ringing, and they didn't even answer it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
And
that tells you.
and come February, it could all change.
Well,
I'm-
we'll deal with that in February. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We got 114 subs. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It helps us out. Any closing statement, gentlemen?
We're built for this shit.
That's right.
We're built like shit.
Who's sorry now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, fellas. Have a good one.
Good one, guys. Be well.
Peace.
Quarterback, Ken O'Brien of California Davis.
Just 14 that first time, now going long. They got a wide open man, and he makes the catch. It's Braylon Edwards picking off. Braylon Edwards will take it home for the touchdown. 80.
First down in San Diego territory at the 47-yard line. Big draw. And Pennington going for 6. Deep down the field, and it's caught by Santana Moss.